Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 14, entitled The Forest of Enjoyment, text 30. It's a long Sanskrit prose, so we're gonna skip it. I'm gonna read the translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. But before we do that, what did we discuss yesterday?
We cannot achieve Krishna without mercy of devotees. And you gave example that after receiving the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, he got the mercy of Chaitanya Prabhu.
Okay. Yes, without mercy of devotees we can't attain anything. Because we are not qualified. As simple as that. I don't even know what to look for. That's a special mudra now. And so, there's a new mudra. Okay, any other point? Oh.
Nothing can stand before time. It destroys everything.
Time destroys everything. Time is the most powerful factor. No? Yeah, there are different factors that we pretty much always overlook. And there are 5 major factors. Who knows that? What are the 5 major factors in life that determine certain action and result? What are the 5 major factors? Don't look at me, look at your Bhagavad Gita better. Huh? If you don't know, what are the factors? Huh? According to Bhagavad Gita. According to. What is Krishna saying? Huh? Do you know something? Karma, time, something like this.
I know the 5 objects of Bhagavad Gita.
No.
Prakriti.
No. No. Wrong answer. Tomorrow this shloka should be learned. What is that shloka? Open Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter. Where is it? Where is book? Where is the book? Here's the book. Endeavor, place, endeavor, place. The most important one, which everybody is forgetting about. Then senses. Kala, Desha, Patra. Most important one is the super soul. The most important factor is the super soul. So we think sometimes we have things under control and we are going to achieve something, but if Krishna doesn't sanction, it is not going to happen. No? So it's not just our effort or the place or our senses or our endeavor. Huh?
The 14th look. Place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, and different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the super soul.
Yes. So this is shloka number 14, chapter number 18, and that would be nice shloka to learn. No? Read in Sanskrit.
Adhishtanam tatha karta
Adhishtanam tata karta
Karanam cha pitak vidham
Karnam cha prithak vidham
Vividhasya pitak prastishta
Vividhasya prithak chvesta
Daivam chevana panchamam
Daivam chaivatra panchamam.
Panchamam. Okay, any other point?
Sometimes people realize the importance of it, but they take shelter of the bogus gurus and some other cheaters. They completely destroy it.
Yeah, buzzers.
Buzzers.
Buzzers, that's a funny word, buzzers. Vultures, herons, they're just like that. And they subside on very bad things, Okay, what else? A nice waterfall now. Nice swimming pool and nice waterfall. Now we can all go and take rest. That's the best sound for sleeping. Yeah? Relaxation. No? In Ayurveda they're teaching something about mantras and sounds also. How to heal. Yeah, they do, huh?
Many types of mantra to heal, such as snake bite and something.
Okay. Yeah.
No one can save from time, but Krishna controls time. By his glasses, material world start acting, and by his will,
Krishna is the time. Nobody can control the time. Because Krishna is the time. Nobody can control Krishna. So unless Krishna sanctions and influences the time, then the time will just be enormous obstacle, and which it is to everyone else. Except, again, if that time is ayurharati vaipulsa medyanastam chayanasa, unless that time is used for Krishna's service, Krishna consciousness. Nothing.
I was absent.
Why?
Yesterday was my exam.
Okay, anything else? So today, this translation, it says like this: the pseudo-swamis, yogis, and incarnations who do not believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead are known as pashandis. They themselves are fallen and cheated because they do not know the real path of spiritual advancement. And whatever goes to them is certainly, and whoever goes to them, it's certainly cheated in his turn. When one is thus cheated, he sometimes takes shelter of the real followers of Vedic principles, Brahmanas, or those in Krishna consciousness, who teach everyone how to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, according to Vedic rituals. However, being unable to stick to these principles, these rascals again fall down and take shelter among Shudras, who are very expert in making arrangements for sex indulgence. Sex is very prominent among animals like monkeys. And such people who are enlivened by sex may be called descendants of monkeys. So our forest of enjoyment, it's our forest of enjoyment. Yeah. We realize some sufferings, of life. But then everything is nice if there is sex life. You know, all the sufferings are gone. No? Is it? No, it's not. But some people think like that. No. Very often there are examples of those who contract STD, no? STD, sexually transmitted disease. Huh? Whichever. There are many different types. Yeah. So, and even though they might be having the disease, they still want to indulge in the sex life, no? No? And even after maybe they get cured, they still want to indulge in the sex life. They're forced, no? They think this is, of course, absolute happiness in life. Very expert, just like here it is said, very expert in arranging for the sex indulgence. So in spite of suffering, still they're thinking of sense gratification. Just like sometimes somebody might be sick, somebody might be having some sardi, no? And still they will take some item that they know it's not to be taken. Let's say some milk sweets. When you have sardi, milk sweets are very bad. No, but you still, it's nothing will happen. No? So much will happen, but still you take and you make things worse. No? Make things worse. Because you cannot control your mind, you cannot control your tongue. No? So, like this, many times people are looking for some shelter from the miseries of material existence. They realize there are miseries, but because they're not sincere, then they end up following somebody who is a cheater. Very simple as that. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalaka Chakshurmilitamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Gutta Vishnu Bhaktirama Swami Nitinandram State Saraswati Gauravana Pracharya Nagrisha Krishna Vadipashcha Kirishna Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Sometimes also you see that people try to practice spiritual life, but then they come across someone who really disappoints them like this. You know, they really see it. And these people are completely bogus, no? And then they become atheists. And I'd say no more religion, because every religion is just nonsense, no? Yeah, because they have a bad experience. But why is that so? Why is that so? That means actually that they were not sincere. Yeah. And that's why not Krishna, but Maya keeps them away from Krishna. Maya keeps them away from Krishna. Just like it is stated that in Padma Purana, Baudam Prachanam Uchyate, Mayavadama Satchastram, Baudam Prachanam Uchyate. That Lord Shiva will come and bewilder those atheists presenting the teachings of Nirvishesha and Shunyavadi. No? So why he does that? Because that's enormous service that he does. So why he does that? Because people, then they will come, they will try to take shelter of some bona fide process, but because they're not sincere, they'll just corrupt that process. And that's what keeps on happening over and over and over and over. Yeah? As a bona fide process, very powerful process, very pure process. But somebody with impure mind, meaning impure desires, will come and just contaminate everything, set completely different standard. No? We see that happening. There's always difficulty in maintaining appropriate standards and purity of a certain process. We see that over and over and over and over. It's a challenge. That's why Krishna has to come every now and then, no? Or why he has to send someone to rearrange or re-establish the process. We've seen. It was not so long ago. Maybe, 150 years, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. This movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was completely corrupted practically. Anyway, we won't talk about this now, but it's practically almost corrupted. Yeah. Infested with so many Apa Sampradayas. And nobody knew what is the real practice. It became so corrupted. Sakibeki, Goranagari, Guranganagari, Aul Baul, Sadgoswami, not Sadgoswami, Sadgoswami. Anyway, so many Apa Sampradayas. Yeah. And many of them, there was some other, there were those who were following Buddhism, actually, but they were kind of claiming to be followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so many funny things going on. And the best were, of course, those who were dressing, I'm Radha, you're Krishna, Hari Bol, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, it's like. And then there were those who would eat fish, I say Ganga fowl. And then they would say, make sure you put tulsi, to offer also. So many nonsense things going on. So many nonsense. People practically forgot. They didn't know what is the real process. What is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had given. So many deviations. So that's why one may ask, what is this? Why there are so many cheaters? Why there is this guru and that guru and this one and that one? There are so many bogus people around. No? Why they're around? Because there is a market for it. Very simple. No? Yeah. When there is a demand, there is supply. No? When there is a demand, there is supply. And somebody benefits, no? At least they think they are benefiting. They're all going to hell, that's a different thing. Yeah. Because they're really cheating themselves and cheating others. But where is a demand, there is a supply. And why now this is not abolished? Because, again, there is a demand. And if that wouldn't be available, then they would come to some bona fide practice, and they would corrupt that practice. Because they don't want to surrender to Krishna. They want to exploit Krishna. And that's why in the name of serving Krishna, or the name of Krishna consciousness, then there will be so many abominable things going on. No? So that's why that purity has to be retained, and that should not be allowed. No? It's like, we know, the most dangerous thing is what? Money. Money. Yeah. It corrupts everybody. So many times people are attracted to money. And they come even into spiritual organization, thinking, how can I position myself to gain so much money? Yeah? It does happen. So many cases happen. Yeah? Anyway, you don't have to mention examples. It does happen. And then everybody thinks, yes, money is the goal of life. What a nonsense. No? Money is the goal of life, because when I have money, then I can control everyone and everything. And I can set also certain other standards that are, completely deviating, so-called, they're not even standards, it's just rascaldom. Yeah. And then the whole thing becomes corrupted. And nobody even knows after a time, what is the real standard. Huh? That's why Krishna has to come. Yada yada hi dharmasya, parityanaya sadhana, and so on. Or he sends devotees like Bhaktivinoda Thakur or something. So much corruption is going on. So that's why these cheaters are there. No? They're actually pashandis. To distract those who are also pashandis away from the real process. No? Because they will corrupt the bona fide process. So there's always a struggle, what is the standard? What is the dharma? How to practice? So that's why it says here that they themselves are fallen and cheated because they do not know the real path of spiritual advancement. They don't want to know. They don't want to know. There was one fellow in the US, he came from India. So he was asked about certain processes and practices and then he was asked, did he read the book, Bhagavad Gita book written by Srila Prabhupada? He said, no, I didn't read. Because if I would read, I would be influenced by it. I see. So on purpose, he's not going to read because he wants to present his own speculations. So it's good. Anyway, fine, good. So you have nothing to do with the, purity of the process. So you have your own, rubbish being presented. No problem. And attract those who also want the same. No? That's why it's like Prabhupada said, if there is a shop with the sweets, good quality sweets, people will know this is a shop with the good quality sweets. Let's say they're made with the ghee. And somebody keeps the standard, everyone will know, oh, this is a very good quality ghee sweet shop, no? And yes, it might be a little more expensive, this and that, but I know that I'm getting a good quality there. No? And those people who want a good quality, they will go and shop in that kind of sweet shop. No? And those who want something cheap, whatever nonsense, this and that, then they will go to such kind of shop. No? That's it. So why should one compromise on quality? No? Because there will be someone who will want good quality. There might not be many, doesn't matter. But then why compromising? Because nowadays everybody's compromising. So much cheating is going on, no? You go to the market or something, where will you get the real thing? Nobody's ready to supply the real, natural thing, no? Everything is adulterated. Or even worse, who knows, but of course it was better, if you would have known, what's going on. There was some video circulating some 2 years back or something, this lychee, how they're selling lychee. Yeah. And then behind the desk there is a guy with that spray paint, and then he paints them red, and then they're selling. Anyway, when the worst thing happens, this is external, but internally to them, we know they're putting the chemicals, this, that, so many horrible things. Yeah, so much cheating going on. It's really horrible. I mean, how Ayurveda? What will you do? We are eating poison, There's so many poisons we are eating. What will Ayurveda do? To restore the health. So that's why it's so especially in the spiritual process like this. One has to be sincere, that's all. One just has to, and that's why those who present the spiritual process, they also have to see who is sincere, who really wants Krishna. Of course, it's rare. Yeah, okay, it's rare. Prabhupada said, if I make one pure devotee, I will consider my whole mission to be successful. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. One pure devotee. Of course, he succeeded. He made many. But he said one. He said one pure devotee. So it's not expected that, there will be thousands and millions and I don't know what. Yeah. It's not expected because it's very clear. Nobody wants it. Nobody's ready to purchase pure ghee. No? But we see people are so enamored. They go where the majority goes. No? They go where, this one has billions of followers. Yeah, billions of hells you can go to after following such a hell. No problem. No? They see, I'm so attracted, this fellow or this lady or this whatever, that they have so many followers. That must be good. That must be real thing. No? Everybody thinks like this. Yeah. Psychology of the sheeps. Bad cow.
Head.
Dimag, mustak. How do you say?
Mastak.
Mastak, it's Hindi. Dimag, it's Urdu. Bed, Let's see the bed, what brain they have. They have no brain. Wherever any go, that they will follow, no? Yeah. That's why masses of people, yes, this is very popular, this is very famous. Okay, then you go there. If that's the criteria, what you think that for the spiritual life? No, criteria for the spiritual life, you have to understand that hardly anyone will be interested. That's what we have to understand. Very few, Manushyanam Sahasreshu, Krishna is saying, very few. Because who is ready to pay the price? Who is ready to pay the price? Now, I want moksha, I want perfection, I want Svargaloka, I don't know, I want so many things. Okay, are you ready to pay for the ticket? Are you ready to pay for the ticket? No, I'm not ready to pay for the ticket. But then, how will it happen? So I want spiritual life. Okay, are you ready to renounce something? No, I'm not ready to renounce anything. Are you ready to do little tapasya, to practice something? No, I'm not ready to do any tapasya. Just like today's Ekadashi, Are you ready to do some upvas, some fasting, some little tapasya, something? No, I'm not ready. But then what do you expect? Then you go to some other process, they will tell you, no, this is all who said upvas. No, you can eat as much as you want to eat and whatever you want to eat and this and that and whatever. So then foolish people, okay, fine. So then you want to be cheated and you go and get cheated like this. No? That's what goes on. Because nobody is ready, like Prabhupada said. Now, there are real diamonds available, but who is ready to pay the price? Who is ready to pay the price? That's the whole point. So then you settle for some broken glass. Okay, fine. Yeah. And still you pay something and you just waste everything because you got nothing. You're just being cheated. No. Because you don't know what the real thing is also. No. So anyway, so they all end up trapped in this grossest bodily conception of life, which is based on sex life. That's all. Everybody's just, encouraging the sex life. And that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants. But recently, I heard one class, Bhakti Vikar Swami was saying that in Europe there was one priest came to their camp. And it was so funny that priest, the priests are supposed to be celibate also. But that priest came with his girlfriend. Yes. So then he was like, what is this, So then it was, explained that, well, this is modern nowadays, it's like, it's like, this is what people want and this is what, it's accepted. So it's like that, So nobody minds. So in the same way, what to say here in India, also. So many illicit things going on in the name of spiritual life. So it's all cheating business. And nobody can even rise beyond this grossest entanglement of sex life. And the grossest level, what to speak of anything beyond that. So that's how it's just like, it says here, sex is very prominent among animals like monkeys. So, such people who are enlivened by sex may be descendants of monkeys. Now, Vanara Jata. That's in Sanskrit. Vanara Jata. Tamaguna, that means Tamaguna. So in the purport Srila Prabhupada says, By fulfilling the process of evolution from the aquatics to the animal platform, a living entity eventually reaches the human form. The three modes of material nature are always working in the evolutionary process. Those who come to the human form through the quality of sattva guna were cows in their last animal incarnation. Those who come to the human form through the quality of rajaguna were lions in their last animal incarnation. And those who come to the human form through the quality of tamoguna were monkeys in their last animal incarnation. In this age, those who come through the monkey species are considered by modern anthropologists like Darwin to be descendants of monkeys. We receive information herein that those who are simply interested in sex are actually no better than monkeys. Monkeys are very expert in sexual enjoyment. And sometimes sex glands are taken from monkeys and placed in the human body so that a human being can enjoy sex in old age. In this way, modern civilization has advanced. Yeah, we have advanced. We have come to the level of monkeys now. We are very advanced. That's what it is. So now we can also be like monkeys, you know. That's advancement. Many monkeys in India were caught and sent to Europe so that the sex glands could serve as a replacement for those old people, those of old people. Those who actually descend from the monkeys are interested in expanding their aristocratic families through sex. In the Vedas, there are also certain ceremonies, especially meant for sexual improvement and promotion to higher planetary systems, where the demigods are enjoying sex. The demigods are also very much inclined towards sex because that is the basic principle of material enjoyment. Yeah. So that's what nobody knows. Now, like they said, the purity of the process. What is the purity? The purity of the process is no sex life. It's the grossest, most abominable, disgusting, activity. No sex life. And as much as one is free from that much one is advanced in spiritual life. Because it's prema that replaces the kama, no? So as much as one is free from kama, the more he will have the prema. And when you have the prema, why would you be interested in kama, no? That's how it is understood. Where is one placed in spiritual life? How much one is free from sex life? That much one has taste for Krishna conscious practice. So then Srila Prabhupada continues, it says, first of all, the conditioned soul is cheated by so-called swamis, yogis and incarnations when he approaches them to be relieved of material miseries. Because they will all say, no problem, you have as much sex as you want and we will also, participate. That is also what is going on. You can all be sannyasis and sannyasinis. Yeah? Big ashram together, no? Very nice. When the conditioned soul is not satisfied with them, he comes to devotees and pure brahmanas who try to elevate him for final liberation from material bondage. However, the unscrupulous conditioned soul cannot rigidly follow the principles prohibiting illicit sex, intoxication, gambling and meat eating. Thus he falls down and takes shelter of people who are like monkeys. In Krishna Consciousness movement, these monkey disciples, being unable to follow the strict regulative principles, sometimes fall down and try to form societies based on sex. This is proof that such people are descendants of monkeys. That's confirmed by Darwin. In this verse it is therefore clearly stated, Yatta vanara jate. Haribo, any questions on this? Yatta vanara jate.
those who are so much addicted towards pornographies and other things just like stuff, and they are acting on their glands and many things. So, what are the solutions for them? Well, just like how can we say them, or how can they
Somebody
elevate
who is
from them?
addicted to pornography and everything regards to sex life. Well, you can understand how miserable that position is. How much actually those people suffer. Yeah. It's their position is just so horrible. Yeah. They're absolutely having no control. Yeah. We have examples in Mumbai. And some of those boys, they really want to practice Krishna consciousness, but they just go mad after some time. It just becomes, they just can't do it, and they just have to, indulge in sex life. They can't control it. And they know it's a hell, but they just can't control it. And then again they're lamenting, and then again and again and again. There's so much, It's a very big problem. It's not just like any other addiction. It's just a very serious problem. It's a very serious problem. So, well, first one has to always identify. First one has to strengthen his faith in Krishna and devotees. And one has to somehow agree to follow something. That comes by devotional service, that comes by strengthening intelligence, by reading Shastra, by hearing, by chanting. One has to strengthen that conviction. And then one may build up that ability whenever that kind of urge forces one into such kind of things again, that one will somehow resist that urge, and then try to replace it with something else. And the best is again in association. Of course, sometimes we've seen that some of those boys who are like really, really heavily addicted, and they can't remain in association. They find faults, they start criticizing, they start fighting with devotees, just at last they just become mad, and they can't even stay with the devotees. Then they have to go out, they have to go home, and then they do all that nonsense. Then again they kind of temporarily cool down. We gave that analogy already. It's just like temporary, you pour fuel on the fire, it looks extinguished, no? Just to burst again, like even with more fire. So that's not a solution. So one has to have a strength of conviction that, this is just a madness that's completely consuming my life. Yeah? One has to have that condition. I just stop it, that's it, just stop it. Whatever it's that, there was one boy, anyway, I won't. So, one just has to stop using mobile phones, stop using whatever, stop going to certain places, stop. Just stop, and somehow trying to become so focused in Krishna consciousness. The best thing would be, go to some isolated place, let's say some farm or something like this, and just be fully engaged, with cows, fully engaged with bulls and cows and something like this, just completely natural environment without any previous. And then of course then some impressions will come, but if one somehow creates new impressions, then all of those will fade. And one just has to really just chant Hare Krishna and serve and create just positive impressions, that's it. There's no other option. But heavy engagement in Krishna conscious service. Otherwise it will just, like we said, it will just consume one completely, just ruin one's life, ruins one's health. No, Ayurveda, how important the semen is, no? You waste this, so many diseases will follow, and so many horrible things, and so much loss of memory and consciousness and brain and so many horrible things, no? But people don't know this. They think, oh, it's normal, everybody's doing so, we also have to. Yeah. That's why more and more and more. That's what one has to identify. What are the troubles? What are the agitating circumstances that force one into it, and one just has to give those up. That's it. One has to build up that conviction that, yes, this is bad, but and it's not that just I know it's bad, but I'm just going to do something about it. I'm going to have some character to do something about it. That's the point. Yeah. Might not be easy, but one should never give up. And one should finally put an end to it. Because if you don't do it in this life, it will follow into next life. That's the point. It's not going to end just like that. No, those impressions, those desires will still be there. One has to be determined to stamp it out. That's it. It's over and no more. Because it will never stop. It just can become worse. That's it. No, it's not just the magic going to stop. One has to make a very firm decision. It's over now, because it's just Rakshas, that's tormenting my mind. I want to kick him out. I don't want this anymore. I want this garbage anymore in my mind. One has to make that conviction. Just like any other addiction. There was one devotee, like for 20 years he was struggling to give up smoking. Just smoking or whatever. But he was struggling and he really wanted, and he made it. Of course, some people do it within a few months or a few something. Depends. But he was really struggling. But he continued struggle and he made it. And then he was initiated. He could have been initiated long time back. He was very sincere, but he couldn't give up smoking. No? So addictions are very heavy. So first of all, we shouldn't get involved in addictions. That would be even better. That's what Vedic culture was about. But nowadays, who follows Vedic culture? You see what this modern society does from the people. Turns them into zombies, turns them into animals. And we are exalting this society as such a nice society of freedom, society of, you can do whatever you want to do. But you see what it does to you. It makes you an animal. Yeah? That is society that we adore. What a madness. So that's why one has to use intelligence and say, no more of this rubbish. No more of this rubbish. It's disgusting. Yeah. This one devotee was telling, he's still a devotee, but he's struggling, Anyway, I'm going to tell you this. It's a little gross so that it sticks into mind. He would go and masturbate in the bathroom and using the stool. So disgusting. I just see the madness of the mind. The madness, what madness? And you want to identify with this lust, and you think the lust is very nice. The lust is so abominable, so disgusting, so selfish. Why do we want to entertain? We should just say stop and enough of this nonsense. No? That's it. Anybody's addicted and work on that addiction, get it out. Stop it, because it's just going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. No. That's why one should just, like any disease, no? Do you entertain any disease? No, immediately, as soon as possible, stop it. Otherwise, it's just going to keep on increasing. That's what Chanakya Pandit said: disease, death, and fire. No, there's no playing around with any of this. It's just going to make havoc. Addiction's also like that. Okay, anything else?
Prabhuji, we have the association of the devotees are very rare nowadays. Like yesterday you told, to sustain bhakti, we need the association of devotees.
Yeah.
So by the mercy of Krishna, we are getting the devotees association here in center. But afterwards, whenever we go here and then for job, and even in the temple, it's very rare to get the devotees association. So how we will sustain for?
Well, again, one has to be sincere. Krishna will make arrangement. Krishna will make arrangement. Or you say you're going for a job, then in the job you make devotees. Be a devotee and people will come. Somebody will come. Somebody may ridicule or whatever, but somebody will say, hey, what are you doing? Maybe it looks nice, looks like, you're pretty much together and, pretty much sattvic and this something. They'll be attracted by something, no? And they might want it. So then you don't have a devotee, then make someone a devotee. Then you'll have a devotee association. Like that. There are always an options. But at least when we have an option, then we should appreciate that option also. You see, so many people come and they don't appreciate that option. It's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. What to do? No. That's right. That's a very good one. It just reminds me of somebody who was here. It's a very good one. Then they leave association, no? Why? Because of sex life, you see? Being unable to stick to these principles, these rascals again fall down and take shelters among Shudras who are very, very expert in making arrangements for sex indulgence. Pretty heavy, no? It's all sex life. Because of sex we don't get Krishna, no? We don't get devotee association. Now what to do? Okay, anything else? Okay, and we'll stop. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Guru Premanande.